Okay, so I okay, I started. Okay, so for today, let's learn Japanese. Okay, I'm going to go through Minna no Nihongo chapter 4. Okay, Minna no Nihongo. Minna no Nihongo. Everyone's Japanese. Okay, we're going for chapter 4. Okay, chapter 4, 第4課文型. We have three sentence structures for today. Bunke means sentence structure. Okay, bunke. Bunke. Okay, 第4課. Okay, so we have three sentences. The first one is 今4時5分です. 今4時5分です. Okay, which means now is 5 minutes. 4 p.m. and no, not p.m. Sorry, 4 o'clock and 5 minutes. Okay, 4時5分です. Okay, now it's 4 and 4 o'clock 5 minutes. Okay, number two. 私は毎朝6時に起きます. Let's change that a bit. 毎朝 every morning 毎朝7時に起きます。に起きます。起きます。起きます。Which means I wake up every day at 7 o'clock. Okay, 毎朝7時に起きます. Okay, 毎朝 means every morning. 起きます means wake up. So, wake up every day at 7 o'clock. Okay, when you don't have the subject here, it always means the speaker. Okay, here you don't have no subjects, right? Okay, no watashi, nothing. So, it means the speaker. The speaker wakes up at 7 a.m., 7 o'clock every morning. And the last one. Okay, and the last one for today is 私は昨日勉強しました. 私は昨日 which means yesterday. Me yesterday 勉強しました. In past tense 勉強しました. Studied. Okay, 勉強. Wait, kanji. It should be kanji. 勉強しました. Okay, so 昨日勉強 which means 勉強 means study. So しました is in the past tense. So I studied yesterday. 私は昨日勉強しました. Okay, so those are the sentence structures for chapter 4 of Minna no Nihongo. I think we did this. I don't know. I did classes with a few students, so I don't really remember if I've done this before on live, but it's okay. We'll just treat it as fukushu. Okay, we'll just repeat it. Okay, so for timing in Japan, you use ji and fun. Okay, you use this ji and fun. Okay, let's just take that. Eto. Let's just duplicate this one. And yeah. Okay, so let's focus on the first sentence. 今4時5分です。今4時5分です。Now it's 4 o'clock and 5 minutes. 今4時5分です。Okay, so you use this kanji, which means time. Okay, ji and fun, which means here it means minutes. Okay, it has a few meanings, this kanji, but here it means minutes, and ji means time or hour here. Okay, so 4時5分です。Okay, so in Japan, usually you use a 24-hour system. Okay, 24-hour system. So you start with 0 for 12 a.m. Okay, midnight. Okay, and 1, 2 until 12 p.m. Okay, and in the noon. Okay, noon. And then you start again with 13, as in 1 p.m. until 24. Okay, which is 12 a.m. and it's going to the next day. Okay, but if you go on buses, night buses, okay, 24 means, for example, if they write 24:15, it means it is the 12th at midnight for the previous day. How do I say this? Okay, for example, it's on the third, okay, third of the month, okay, and this is the fourth of the month, right? So 24:15 will be the fourth, like this, okay? The next day, 15, a quarter past um, midnight, but when the Japanese write like this, so it means basically you're moving or you're on your way on the third, right? So it's going to be on the third 20, 24:15. Okay, so these are the same thing, but yeah, so sometimes people get confused. Hmm. Okay, so this is how they say timings in Japan normally, usually. So they will use the 24-hour system, but sometimes they do use the 12-hour system. You just have to say whether it is AM or PM, but they don't use AM or PM. Usually the Japanese use gozen or gogo. Okay, 12-hour system. So you have noon, right? Noon. And this noon is go. Okay, so this is how you write the kanji for, you read it as go. Okay, which means noon. Okay, so whatever comes before noon is before noon, and whatever comes after noon is afternoon. Okay, so you have to put go zen. Okay, this is how it is written, and go go. Okay, go zen, and go go. Okay, so this is the kanji for before, and this is the kanji for after. So it literally means before noon and afternoon. Okay, so they put these words gozen or gogo before the timing, okay, to differentiate whether it is in the morning AM or afternoon PM. Okay, so let's say if I say gozen kuji. Okay, it's gozen kuji. Gozen kuji. That will mean 9 a.m. because 9 before noon, so 9 a.m. And if I say gogo kuji, wait, kuji. Okay, gogo kuji, then it will mean 9 p.m. Okay, so this is how they say the timings. So both are normally used. It depends on the what field you're working in. Some field they will only use 24-hour system. Sometimes it's easier for them to use the 12-hour system. Okay, but in normal conversation, they use both. Okay, they use both gozen gogo or the 24-hour system. Okay, so I tend to use 24-hour system in my speech. In my conversation, when I talk to friends, I'll just say 17지. Okay, I'll just say 17. Okay, 17 o'clock, which means 5 p.m. Okay, which means 5 p.m. Or 22지, 22지, which means 10 p.m. Okay, so that is how you say the timing in Japanese. Okay, so you just put the number, okay, number, and you add G, okay, G, which means o'clock, and then you put number, and then you add fun. Okay, usually it's read as fun for the minutes. Okay, so nani nani ji, nani nani fun. So, for example, if I write it like this, it means one and a half, one and a half, 1:30 p.m. Okay, 1:30 p.m. And you say it 13지 30분. Okay, 13지 30분. Okay, 13지 30분, which means 1:30. Okay, 1:30 p.m. Okay, so any numbers and with any numbers and the minutes. Okay, so if you have realized, I put it here as fun, but here it is pronounced as pun. Okay, pun. Okay, so if you write it with kanji, it will be 13지 30분. Okay, 13지 30분. So when do you pronounce it as fun? When do you pronounce it as fun? Pun. Okay, so it depends on what number is before it. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you have Gofun, Sanjupun. I think that's all. Yeah. Okay. So for the number one, you say it as Ippen. Okay, 1 minute will, you have to pronounce it as ippun. Okay, 2 is nifun. Sang is sampun. Okay, sampun. And then 4 is yongpun. Sorry, yongpun. So yongpun. 5 is gofun. 6 is ropun. Ropun. And nanafun or shchifun. And you have happen. Happen. And then kyufun. Kyufun. And then you have juppun. Okay, juppun. So this is how you say the minutes. Okay, minutes. Some some numbers are pronounced with fun, and some are pronounced with pun. Okay, it depends on what sound you end it with. Okay, so you have to remember. But for some tips, as if it ends with in, then you have to start it with pun. Okay, the Japanese is very important to um, whether it's easy for them to pronounce it. Okay, is it some fun? It's very hard to pronounce. Okay, fun, san fun. So they add pu, so it's easier to pronounce sampung. Okay, so you have to remember this, and then so anything that ends with 10 in tens, for example, 10, 20, 30, okay, then it will be using pun. 30분, 20분, 10분. Okay, so that's how you pronounce fun in Japanese. How you pronounce the timing, okay? Okay, so next. To. The second one, okay, 毎朝 7時に起きます. Okay, so here what we need to focus on is this ni. Okay, ni. Ni here you can translate is at. Okay, at 7 o'clock. I wake up every day at 7 o'clock. So you use ni, okay, after the timing. Okay, 毎朝 7時に起きます. Okay, so 毎朝 wait, can I write that? Is that yes, 毎朝 for example 6時 okay に起きます. Okay, 起きます. 毎朝. So you use ni after the time, which and it will mean at 6, at 7, at 8. Okay, 毎朝 7時に起きます. example 12時に昼ご飯を食べます. 昼ご飯を食べます. Okay. 12時に昼ご飯. Okay, 昼ご飯 is lunch. Okay, 12時に昼ご飯を食べます. So I eat lunch at 12 o'clock. Okay, so 12 here, it will be PM. Okay, 12時に昼ご飯を食べます. Okay, and oh, I sleep. Okay, I sleep at my bang. Okay, every night I sleep at 10 p.m. then. Okay, wait. My bang, my bang, my bang. 10時、午後10時。Let's use 午後 then here. 午後10時に寝ます。I have to check for the kanji because I don't really remember. Okay. At work, all we do is typing, so we don't really write things. Okay, 寝ます。寝ます。Okay, so 毎晩午後10時に寝ます。午後、毎晩。Okay, 毎晩午後10時に寝ます。So, I sleep at 10 p.m. Okay, 午後だから10 p.m. 午後10時。I sleep at 10 p.m. every night. Okay, so this is for the second structure, sentence structure for today. And then the third one is 私は昨日勉強しました。Okay? 私は昨日勉強しました。Which means I studied last week. 違う。yesterday, sorry. 昨日 means yesterday. So I studied yesterday. Okay. そうだね。So, this is the first time past tense is here, I think. Okay. So as you know, verbs in Japanese, okay, verbs in Japanese, they will always end with mas. Okay, this is for formal speaking. Okay, ends with mas. Okay, ends end with mas. Okay, this is for the positive, and negative will end with masen. Okay, and is masen. So how do you change it into past tense? Okay, past tense, it's very simple actually. You just change the mas to mashita, mashita, and for the negative, masen deshita. Okay, so for formal way of speaking, it is very simple. Mas becomes mashita, masen will change to masen deshita. Okay, for the Japanese, it gets harder when you get to the formal speech. Okay, formal type of speaking. Sorry, for the normal, not formal, normal way of speaking. When you don't use this mas and masen, then it gets very confusing. But for starters, okay, for beginners, usually we will start with the formal way of speaking as to not be rude. So you will use mas and masen. So to change it into past tense, mashita, negative masen deshita. It's that simple, okay? So let's go for a few verbs. Okay, we have normal verbs ikimasu. Okay, ikimasu, which means go. Okay, so this mas will change to mashita for past tense, right? So it will be ikimashita. Ikimashita. This is went. Okay, ikimasu becomes ikimashita. For the negative, ikimasen. Okay, ikimasen, which means don't go or will not go. Okay, ikimasen. This masen will become masen deshita. So, ikimasen deshita. So, masen deshita. masen will become masen deshita, and this means didn't go. Okay, didn't go. So it's that simple. Okay, so this is for V1, okay, the group V1. I think I've explained in my previous lives. Okay, there are three types of verbs in Japanese: V1, V2, and V3. So this is the example for V1. Let's go for V2. Okay, for V2 we have our most popular verb, which is eat, tabimasu. Okay, eat, tabimasu. So this mas will become mashita for 8. So tabemasu becomes tabemashita. Mas becomes tabemashita for 8. Okay? And this is the same for negative tabemasen, which means don't eat or I will not eat. It will be masen deshita. Tabemasen deshita. Okay, sorry, I forgot to put this. Ta, ta, ta. Okay, tabemasen deshita, masen deshita, which means didn't eat. So this is in past tense. Okay, and this is for V2, and for V3, verb 3, only two V3s. Okay, which is shimasu for do and kimasu, which means come. Okay, do and come. Kimasu. So shimasu will become shimashita. Kimasu will become kimashita. Okay, this is do, did, came. Okay, and for the negative, shimasen will not do, and kimasen will not come or don't come. Okay, kimasen. So shimasen will be shimasen deshita, and kimasen will be kimasen deshita. Okay, so it is as simple as that for past tense. Seriously, nothing other than this. Okay, so this is for past tense. So this is for the verbs. Okay, so as I've said, verbs in Japanese end with mas. So what about the nouns? Okay, so nouns in Japanese will end noun sentences. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay, noun sentences. Okay, the sentences that end with nouns. Okay, so noun sentences in Japanese ends with des. Okay, des for positive and ja arimasen for negative. Okay, ja arimasen for negative. Okay, so how do you change this to past tense? Okay, so for past tense, des will become deshita. Okay, deshita. And ja arimasen will be ja arimasen deshita. Ja arimasen deshita to. Okay, so that's how you change the sentence from present tense to past tense. Okay, so it's that simple. So let's go for some examples. Mm, mm, examples. Examples. And to. I cannot think of some example sentences. Okay, it was cold yesterday. And okay, it was cold yesterday. Okay, my place is a very cold place in Japan. Not really very. It's not like Hokkaido, but it's still cold. It was cold yesterday. So how do you say this in Japanese? Oh, I should have started with present tense, right? It is cold today. Okay, so how do you say that? 今日は So you use the kanji for now and day. So it means today. 今日は 寒いです。Okay, 今日は寒いです. Today is cold. 今日は寒いです. So it ends with this. So it was cold yesterday. How do you change it into past tense? Yesterday is 昨日. Okay, 昨日は okay, I made a mistake. Okay, yes. 寒い日です. I Let me just make a really simple fix. Sorry, it should be 寒かった. Okay, there is a past tense for adjectives. That let me just change that. Sorry. 今日は寒い日です. Okay, today is a cold day. 寒い日です. Okay. Okay, so it is a cold day today. Okay, I need to change that too. It is a cold day today. Okay, forgive me. Okay, it was a cold day yesterday. Let's just change that. It was a cold day yesterday. It was a it was a cold day yesterday. Yep, it was a cold day yesterday. A cold day yesterday. So how do you do this? 昨日は寒い日でした. 昨日は寒い日でしたと. Okay? Mm. Okay, so if you want to change something into past tense, if it is something that ends with a noun, okay, so this is a noun, right? De. Okay, so from this you change it into deshita. Deshita. Okay, that is so simple. So if you want to make it into negative, okay, so negative ja arimasen, it will change into ja arimasen deshita. You just add the deshita at the end of the sentence. Okay, so let's just do that real quickly. Change this. It was it is not a cold day today. Okay, it is not a cold day today. 今日は it wasn't a cold day yesterday. It wasn't a cold day yesterday. Okay, it isn't a cold day today, and it wasn't a cold day yesterday. Let me just make a real quick fix. Okay, it wasn't a cold day yesterday. So how do you change this? So 今日は寒い日じゃありません. じゃありません. Okay, so this is for negative. Okay, and then for past tense, it wasn't a cold day yesterday. 昨日は寒い日ではありませんでした. or じゃありませんでした. じゃありませんでした. Okay, so that's how you change the sentences for noun sentences. Okay, for the sentences that end with nouns, you use Des to deshita, ja arimasen to ja arimasen deshita. Okay, so this is the simple, oh, not simple, okay, Japanese for formal speech. Formal speech, okay, formal speech, it is very easy. Formal speech, positive and negative. Okay, des ja arimasen, ja arimasen. Okay, to past tense will become deshita, and then ja arimasen deshita. I don't think that will fit, but yeah, ja arimasen. Okay, it will fit deshita. Okay, so this formal speech, this is for nouns. Okay, and for sentences, verb sentences. Okay, for verbs, okay, mas will be mashita, and masen will be masen deshita. Masen deshita to. Okay, so this is how you change the sentences from positive negative sentences to past tense in formal speech Japanese. Okay, as I've said before, it becomes harder and confusing when it is the normal speech. Okay, futsu ke, futsu ke. Okay, normal speech. Okay, things that are used in animes and dramas and variety shows. Okay, where it ends with the verbs all ends with the u sounds and the ru sounds. Okay, and the nai sounds. Okay, so those are normal speech and it will get confusing. Okay, so today we did the fourth chapter of Minna no Nihongo. So next week, okay, I will start with Edaigoka, chapter 5 of Minna no Nihongo. Okay, so I don't really know um, what I should do besides Minna no Nihongo. Okay, if you, um, I started this live for my friend actually, but she's very busy lately. But since I've started doing the live in English, so I thought that maybe just for practicing my English and to share Japanese with everyone, I'll just continue doing this live stream. So if you have any how do you call that, a request? Yes. Okay, not Minna no Nihongo. Please do um, Japanese proficiency tests or things like that. Please do let me know. Okay, and then I'll try to do it from now on. Okay, so thank you, and maybe I'll see you guys again next time. Thank you.